Igloo. Igloo is a type of shelter built of suitable snow. Although igloos are often associated with all Inuit, they were traditionally used only by the people of Canada's central Arctic and the Konak area of Greenland. Other Inuit tended to use snow to insulate their houses, which were constructed from whalebone and hides. Snow is used because the air pockets trapped in it make it an insulator. Known as the igloo effect, on the outside, temperatures may be as low as 45 degrees C, but on the inside, the temperature may range from 7 to 16 degrees Celsius when warmed by body heat alone. In the Inuit languages, the word igloo can be used for a house or home built of any material. The word is not restricted exclusively to snow houses, but includes traditional tents, sod houses, homes constructed of driftwood and modern buildings. Ink. Ink is a gel, sol, or solution that contains at least one colorant, such as a dye or pigment, and is used to color a surface to produce an image, text, or design. Ink is used for drawing or writing with a pen, brush, reed pen, or quill. Thicker inks, in paste form, are used extensively in letterpress and lithographic printing. Ink can be a complex medium, composed of solvents, pigments, dyes, resins, lubricants, solubilizers, surfactants, particulate matter, fluorescents, and other materials. The components of ink serve multiple purposes. The ink's carrier, colorants, and other additives affect the flow and thickness of the ink and its dry appearance. Many ancient cultures around the world have independently discovered and formulated inks due to the need to write and draw. Iguana. Iguana is a genus of herbivorous lizards that are native to tropical areas of Mexico, Central America, South America, and the Caribbean. The genus was first described by Austrian naturalist J.N. Laurenti in 1768. Two species are placed in the genus, the green iguana, which is widespread throughout its range and a popular pet, and the lesser Antillean iguana, which is native to the Lesser Antilles. Genetic analysis indicates that the green iguana may comprise a complex of multiple species, some of which have been recently described, but the reptile database considers all of these as subspecies of the green iguana. The word iguana is derived from the original Taino name for the species, Iwana. In addition to the two species in the genus Iguana, several other related genera in the same family have common names. Ice cream. Ice cream is a frozen dessert typically made from milk or cream that has been flavored with a sweetener, either sugar or an alternative, and a spice, such as cocoa or vanilla, or with fruit, such as strawberries or peaches. Food coloring is sometimes added in addition to stabilizers. The mixture is cooled below the freezing point of water and stirred to incorporate air spaces and prevent detectable ice crystals from forming. It can also be made by whisking a flavored cream base and liquid nitrogen together. The result is a smooth, semi-solid foam that is solid at very low temperatures. It becomes more malleable as its temperature increases. Ice cream may be served in dishes, eaten with a spoon, or licked from edible wafer ice cream cones held by the hands as finger food. Ice cream may be served with other desserts. Iron. Iron is a small appliance that, when heated, is used to press clothes to remove wrinkles and unwanted creases. Domestic irons generally range in operating temperature from 121 degrees Celsius 250 degrees Fahrenheit to 182 degrees Celsius 360 degrees Fahrenheit. It is named for the metal, iron, of which the device was historically made, and the use of it is generally called ironing, the final step in the process of laundering clothes. Ironing works by loosening the ties between the long chains of molecules that exist in polymer fiber materials. With the heat and the weight of the ironing plate, the fibers are stretched and the fabric maintains its new shape when cool. Some materials, such as cotton, require the use of water to loosen the intermolecular bonds. Island. Island is a piece of land, distinct from a continent, completely surrounded by water. There are continental islands, which were formed by being split from a continent by plate tectonics, and oceanic islands, which have never been part of a continent. Oceanic islands can be formed from volcanic activity, grow into atolls from coral reefs, and form from sediment along shorelines, creating barrier islands. River islands can also form from sediment and debris in rivers. Artificial islands are those made by humans, including small rocky outcroppings built out of lagoons and large-scale land reclamation projects used for development. Islands are host to diverse plant and animal life. Oceanic islands have the sea as a natural barrier to the introduction of new species, causing the species that do reach the island to evolve. Indigo. Indigo is a term used for a number of hues in the region of blue, and also the sixth color of the rainbow. The word comes from the ancient dye of the same name. The term indigo can refer to the color of the dye, various colors of fabric dyed with indigo dye, a spectral color, one of the 7 colors of the rainbow as described by Sir Isaac Newton, or a region on the color wheel, and can include various shades of blue, ultramarine, and green-blue. Since the web era, the term has also been used for various purple and violet hues identified as indigo, based on use of the term indigo in HTML web page specifications. The word indigo comes from the Latin word indicum, meaning Indian, as the naturally based dye was originally exported to Europe from India. Internet. Internet is the global system of interconnected computer networks that uses the Internet Protocol Suite, TCP/IP, to communicate between networks and devices. It is a network of networks that comprises private, public, academic, business, and government networks of local to global scope, linked by electronic, wireless, and optical networking technologies. The Internet carries a vast range of information services and resources, such as the interlinked hypertext documents and applications of the World Wide Web, www, electronic mail, discussion groups, internet telephony, streaming media, and file sharing. Most traditional communication media, including telephone, radio, television, paper mail, newspapers, and print publishing, have been transformed by the Internet. Ivy. Ivy is a genus of 12 to 15 species of evergreen climbing or ground-creeping woody plants in the family Araliaceae, native to Western Europe, Central Europe, Southern Europe, Macaronesia, Northwestern Africa, and across Central Southern Asia east to Japan and Taiwan. Several species are cultivated as climbing ornamentals, and the name ivy especially denotes common ivy, known in North America as an English ivy, which is frequently planted to clothe brick walls. On level ground ivies remain creeping, not exceeding 5 to 20 centimeters height, but on surfaces suitable for climbing, including trees, natural rock outcrops or man-made structures such as quarry rock faces or built masonry and wooden structures, they can climb to at least 30 m above the ground. Ivies have 2 leaf types. Insects. Insects are hexapod invertebrates of the class Insecta. They are the largest group within the arthropod phylum. Insects have a chitinous exoskeleton, a 3-part body, 3 pairs of jointed legs, compound eyes, and a pair of antennae. Insects are the most diverse group of animals, with more than 1 million described species. They represent more than half of all animal species. The insect nervous system consists of a brain and a ventral nerve cord. Most insects reproduce by laying eggs. Insects breathe air through a system of paired openings along their sides, connected to small tubes that take air directly to the tissues. The blood therefore does not carry oxygen, it is only partly contained in vessels, and some circulates in an open hemocoel. Idea. Idea is the result of thought. Also in philosophy, ideas can also be mental representational images of some object. Many philosophers have considered ideas to be a fundamental ontological category of being. The capacity to create and understand the meaning of ideas is considered to be an essential and defining feature of human beings. An idea arises in a reflexive, spontaneous manner, even without thinking or serious reflection, for example, when we talk about the idea of a person or a place. A new or an original idea can often lead to innovation. Our actions are based upon beliefs. Beliefs are patterns or organized sets of ideas. The word idea comes from Greek, Romanized, idea, form, pattern, from the root of eidein, to see. Iris. Iris is a flowering plant genus of 310 accepted species with showy flowers. As well as being the scientific name, iris is also widely used as a common name for all iris species, as well as some belonging to other closely related genera. A common name for some species is flags, while the plants of the subgenus Scorpius are widely known as Junos, particularly in horticulture. It is a popular garden flower. The often segregated, monotypic genera Belamconda, Hermodactylus, and Pardenthopsis are currently included in iris. 3 iris varieties are used in the iris flower data set outlined by Ronald Fisher in his 1936 paper The Use of Multiple Measurements in Taxonomic Problems as an Example of Linear Discriminate Analysis. Icicle. Icicle is a spike of ice formed when water falling from an object freezes. Icicles can form during bright, sunny, but subfreezing weather when ice or snow melted by sunlight or some other heat source, refreezes as it drips off under exposed conditions. Over time continued water runoff will cause the icicle to grow. Another set of conditions is during ice storms, when rain falling in air slightly below freezing slowly accumulates as numerous small icicles hanging from twigs, leaves, wires, etc. Thirdly, icicles can form wherever water seeps out of or drips off vertical surfaces such as road cuts or cliffs. Under some conditions these can slowly form the frozen waterfalls favored by ice climbers. Icicles form on surfaces which might have a smooth and straight, or irregular shape, which in turn influences the shape of an icicle. Impala. Impala is a medium-sized antelope found in eastern and southern Africa. The only extant member of the genus Epiceros, and tribe Epicerotini, it was first described to Europeans by German zoologist Hinrich Lichtenstein in 1812. 2 subspecies are recognized: the grassland-dwelling common impala, sometimes referred to as the Kenyan impala, and the larger and darker black-faced impala, which lives in slightly more arid, scrubland environments. The impala reaches 70 to 92 centimeters, 28 to 36 in, at the shoulder and weighs 40 to 65 kilograms, 88 to 143 pounds. It features a glossy, reddish-brown coat. The male's slender, lyre-shaped horns are 45 to 92 centimeters, 18 to 36 in, long. Active mainly during the day, the impala may be gregarious or territorial depending upon the climate and geography. Inchworm. Inchworms are moths belonging to the family Geometridae of the insect order Lepidoptera, the moths and butterflies. Their scientific name derives from the ancient Greek geo, derivative form of the earth, and metron, measure, in reference to the way their larvae, or inchworms, appear to measure the earth as they move along in a looping fashion. Geometridae is a very large family, containing around 23,000 described species. Over 1,400 species from 6 subfamilies are indigenous to North America alone. A well-known member is the peppered moth, Biston bicellaria, which has been the subject of numerous studies in population genetics. Several other inchworms are notorious pests. Ibis. Ibis are a group of long-legged wading birds in the family Thresciornithidae that inhabit wetlands, forests, and plains. Ibis derives from the Latin and ancient Greek word for this group of birds. It also occurs in the scientific name of the western cattle egret, Ardea ibis, mistakenly identified in 1757 as being the sacred ibis. Ibises all have long, down-curved bills, and usually feed as a group, probing mud for food items, usually crustaceans. They are monogamous and highly territorial while nesting and feeding. Most nest in trees, often with spoonbills or herons. All extant species are capable of flight, but 2 extinct genera were flightless, the kiwi-like Apter ibis in the Hawaiian Islands, and the peculiar Xenocebus in Jamaica. The word ibis comes from Latin ibis, from Greek beta iota, ibis from Egyptian hb, hib. I. Instruments. Instruments are devices created or adapted to make musical sounds. In principle, any object that produces sound can be considered an instrument. It is through purpose that the object becomes a musical instrument. A person who plays a musical instrument is known as an instrumentalist. The history of musical instruments dates to the beginnings of human culture. Early instruments may have been used for rituals, such as a horn to signal success on the hunt, or a drum in a religious ceremony. Cultures eventually developed composition and performance of melodies for entertainment. Instruments evolved in step with changing applications and technologies. The exact date and specific origin of the first device considered a musical instrument is widely disputed. Ice. Ice is water that is frozen into a solid state, typically forming at or below temperatures of 0 degrees Celsius, 32 degrees Fahrenheit, or 273.15 K. It occurs naturally on Earth, on other planets, in Oort cloud objects, and as interstellar ice. As a naturally occurring crystalline inorganic solid with an ordered structure, ice is considered to be a mineral. Depending on the presence of impurities such as particles of soil or bubbles of air, it can appear transparent or a more or less opaque bluish-white color. Virtually all of the ice on Earth is of a hexagonal crystalline structure denoted as ice IH, spoken as ice 1H. Depending on temperature and pressure, at least 19 phases, packing geometries, can exist. The most common phase transition to ice IH occurs when liquid water is cooled below 0 degrees Celsius, 273.15 K, 32 degrees Fahrenheit, at standard atmospheric pressure. Indian. Indians are the citizens and nationals of the Republic of India or people who trace their ancestry to India. While the demonym Indian applies to people originating from the present-day India, it was also used as the identifying term for people originating from what is now Bangladesh and Pakistan prior to the partition of India in 1947. The term Indian does not refer to a single ethnic group, but is used as a social construct for the various ethnic groups in or from India. In 2022, the population of India stood at 1.4 billion people. According to United Nations forecasts, India overtook China as the world's most populous country by the end of April 2023, containing 17.5% of the global population. The Indian overseas diaspora also boasts large numbers, particularly in Arab states of the Persian Gulf. Ibex. Ibex is any of several species of wild goat, genus Capra, distinguished by the male's large curved horns, which are transversely ridged in front. Ibex are found in Eurasia, North Africa, and East Africa. The name ibex comes from Latin, borrowed from Iberian or Aquitanian, akin to Old Spanish becerro, bull, modern Spanish becerro, yearling. Ranging in height from 70 to 110 centimeters and weighing 90 to 120 kilograms, 200 to 270 pounds, for males, ibex can live up to 20 years. Three closely related varieties of goats found in the wild are not usually called ibex: the Markhor, Western Tur, and Eastern Tur. A male ibex is referred to as a buck, a female is a doe, and young juveniles are called kids. An ibex buck is commonly larger and heavier than a doe. The most noticeable difference between the sexes is the larger size of a buck's horns.